This week we'll be working on Section 4, the last section of the business plan. Please note the due date on this in Canvas. Okay, so Section 4 includes the following parts: funds required, exit strategy, and executive summary. Altogether, the submission should be 2 pages long, one for the summary and one for the funds required and exit strategy. Now let's dive into what to include under the funds required heading. This is defined by the dollar amount needed to get the enterprise started. If you recall in Section 3 or the financial section, I had you list out all your startup costs. This will give you a very large head start here. Obviously, if you think of more items to add to that list, please do so. But this is the detailed outline of how the money will be spent in startup. I'll also want a timeline of when you'll acquire and utilize this money. The offering is the breakdown of where you'll get this needed money. The first contributor could and probably will be you, the owner of the business. How much will you be putting into the business, dollar-wise, as the principal investor? Next is how much money will you be looking for from outside investors. If you're a nonprofit, this could be sourced from donations or grants. If you're looking for a loan, consider Farm Credit or FSA as if you're a new producer in the agriculture realm. They have beginning farmer loans that fit in a lot of different ventures here. Other sources could be banks, credit cards, angel investors, venture capitalists, even family and friends. You'll need to list the dollar amount and the corresponding offering from each person or business. With several of these businesses, you'll be required or asked to pay back the principal, what you borrowed, plus the interest, or in some cases, offer equity or pay royalties. I would like you to outline the expected or predicted agreement at this time, and coming up in a couple weeks, you'll have the chance to talk to these investors about your business idea, work with them through your business plan, and see what exactly they'll offer and the deals they'll give you. Now, next up, you'll be writing about your exit strategy. Even though it sounds weird to be planning an exit strategy when you're still developing your idea and have yet to start it or have just started it, a lot of investors really put a lot of credit into how you've thought through an exit strategy. So you'll know when to get out of the venture if it isn't going well, or you'll be ready to move on from it. There are several options here for getting out of business. You could sell it to a family member down the road, sell to an outside investor or business owner, plan to close after so many years of operation, or plan to close if you're come up against certain conditions like bankruptcy or unforeseen losses in subsequent years. You could sell your product or business or idea to a larger firm if it's your goal to be absorbed by someone like John Deere or Turo. Or identify a person who will take over the firm like an employee down the road. It might be beneficial to look up different exit strategies people have come up with in business plans and see if you could apply and tweak any of them to fit yours. Both the funds required and exit strategy sections should be 1 page. Remember, this final business plan can only be 10 pages long, so it's important to keep things short and concise, but also very clear. Finally, the executive summary needs to be 1 page tops, and it's a synopsis or abstract of the business and what it includes. It needs to include the problem you're solving for people, the solution you're presenting needs to be obviously concise. It's basically a summary of your whole plan, and it needs to be exciting to read and enticing to the investor to keep reading the plan, since this will be at the start. Now, don't make it dry or boring, because no one's going to be interested in the rest of the plan if they aren't hooked from the start. It needs to include the reason for the business, the why behind it, how the business solves problems or pain points, and how it's unique to the market. Also list some competitive advantages that you'll further explain later, and how much money you've made from your profit margins and pricing strategy. Briefly introduce your management team, and be sure to focus on bringing out the strengths of your plan so that the reader can be looking for those later in detail. In regards to the rubric, it's going to cover points 10, 11, and 12 for this section 4, so be sure you read over that to make sure you've included everything.